And now, I shall resurrect Slifer the Sky Dragon!
Oh man, he just brought back an Egyptian god!
Slifer's attack points are determined by the number of cards in my hand. And since I'm holding 4, he now has 4,000 points!
Hey guys, this is Slifer Maniac. Well guys, it's about time to put up another of those deck profiles. Now we're going in the virtual world arc with the villains that you might see right before you. At least 5 of them. And today I'm going to start with the first, which is this gentleman right there. This is his deck master, and this is the gentleman right there. You see the shadows, silhouettes of him. But his deck master is Deep Sea Warrior, which is the deck master of none other than Gansley of the Big Five. Now you might ask yourself why especially this deck didn't fit in the deck box, or it's self-explainable. It didn't fit. That's why it's not in the deck box. In the visible deck box. But yeah, we're coming to Gansley. What can I say about Gansley? Gansley is one of the most strategic, tactical, skilled members of the Big Five. He has a mostly reptile-based, weak reptile-based monster deck profile, which contains many monsters, of course also other than reptiles as well, which have cunning, sneaky effects, like making you not draw the next turn, or making you lose a couple of life points, or discard you one card, and here and there, and ultimately, yeah, bringing you down into submission. It really annihilates you, like bits to bits. It's not a very, I would say, bumped deck with strong monsters, but it's not needed in here because it's very sneaky, combined with the skill of the deck master which he has in here, which is to reflect one's attack to oneself. It is very much a cunning one, and not well possible to overcome it, as well as I did with other deck profiles. Of course, I tested this one with test hands. It really checks up, and yeah, it's having or just standing in its ground. So it's very much a very tough deck profile, to be honest, with minor measures, you might say, having a really good, efficient outcome. So that's what he does. Another a very funny anecdote about this guy is that he leads his deck like he leads a company. He's always talking with from his monsters as he would speak about employees. So it's very much funny here and there also. But at least I have to admit that this member almost succeeded in beating off the king of the games, which yeah, pretty much he almost annihilated Atem slash Yugi, so that at the end of the this very duel, Atem was like pretty much done for. So, and yeah, the last turn of events, he just swept the enemy with a last ditch effort and turned the tides against for him. So like I said, after my opinion, one of the most strongest members of the Big Five. There are others which are really much weak as well, their characters as well as their decks. But this one is one of the strongest ones. I would say Lecter is even better. But Gansley, yeah, is pretty much far off as well. So these two are very much the best, you might say, because against strong opponents, they make good headway and like yeah, almost succeeded by beating him off, because Lecter was dueling against Seto Kaiba and Gansley was dueling against Yugi. The others weren't that well, but their decks also were weak. So, like for example, Johnson dueled himself against Joey, but his deck was very, very weak. But that's about it. Summarizing that, yeah, let's just dive into it, I would say. And let's start off, of course. I will start off, like I said, he has many reptile-based deck, reptile-based monsters, which have maybe weak stats, but cunning effects. So starting off is Hyperia, which has an Earth attribute, 2 stars, reptile, 500 attack, 500 defense, and its effect works like that. If this card is summoned, you can draw 1 card, and you can just use that effect once per turn. I put this one in there 3 times. Just hold on for a second. There it is. There we go. Then next up is Yoey. Not Joey, but Yoey. An Earth attribute, 3 stars, reptile, also 500 attack and 500 defense as well. And its effect works like that. If this card, none other, is summoned, you can put that effect into place. Your opponent skips his next draw phase, and the very turn that you activate this effect, you can just special summon once. And that's a once per duel effect. So like if you use this effect once, then you can't use it anymore. He played out Yui just 1 time, but to make it more probable, in order to make this effect work, I have 3 in there. Well, you might put also 2 or 1 in there, it's just your choice. Then, and shout out to one of my good friends and colleagues, Taren900, who is also a good Yu-Gi-Oh channel. Just check up his deck profiles, but they're in German, so you might put them to subtitles. But they're very accurate and good. I have put in the Yamori Mori because Gansley is using 2 monsters which are just anime exclusive and not existed yet in the TCG, which is Ashen Grey and of course the Ruklamba. So I made this one in there instead, which was inspired by my good friend and colleague, since I watched his deck profiles many years ago. And for Gansley he had, for example, this one, which is Yamori Mori. It's water type, 2 stars, 0 attack, 0 defense, a reptile but effect, who has the effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 reptile monster you control and face up monster your opponent controls to activate one of these effects. Change those monsters to face down defense position, or the second effect, destroy that monster you control, and if you do, change the attack of the other monster to 0 until the end of this turn. And this is of course once per turn possibility, so very good effect there. I don't recall what Ashen Grey did. I think if Ashen Grey was destroyed, you could put up another Ashen Grey onto the field, and if Ruklamba, if you could summon Ruklamba from your hand if you receive damage with 1000 by 1000 points or more, I think. But yeah, Yamori Mori, so that's still very good handy effect. So of course it prohibits maybe for 1 whole turn your opponent to attack. You can put the monsters into face on defense position, or prevent 1 attack and put 1 monster attack into 0 by banishing this from the graveyard and controlling 1 reptile monsters. And this deck is full of reptile monsters. Like I said, I'm also always taking into account the playability in the Go format, so like it's very good playability there. Sangan, shout out to Dennis B, one of my good friends as well. He loves this card, so we have it in here. But it's also handy, of course, for the most monsters are monsters with 1500 attack or less, so we can always choose one, of course. stock attribute 3 stars, 1000 attack, 600 defense, and of course its effect is very iconic. If it's destroyed by battle and put onto the graveyard, then you can search out for ourselves a monster with 1500 attack or less from your deck and put it to your hand. Wall of Illusion, the next monster which Gansley had in his deck, as he was playing into the effect of Reclamber. Dark attribute 4 stars, a fiend type monster, 1000 attack, 1850 defense. Of course, this one is also a fiend type monster. This card works like that. A monster that attacks this card is returned to its owner's hand after damage calculation. Damage calculation is, of course, applied. Normally, also a good defensive posture right there, 1850, and a very good effect. Another of those, after my opinion, a little bit like filler cards. I don't know who had this card also in his deck, and might be also in the Battle City arc, but I saw many people having this card in their decks. Yami Marek, for example, but he had also, of course, a Masterpiece Discardius. But I also saw this card in Yami Bakura's hand in the Battle City arc, and of course, we are talking about Malekith, 4-face beast, dark attribute 4 stars, but in fiend type, so also someone like Bakura, Yami Bakura would have had a card like this because he wants to have fiend type monsters in the graveyard, in his graveyard, in order to special them in his Dark Necrophere. Of course, 1500 attack, 1200 defense, fiend type. I think the only normal monster I have in here. Then another shout out on Tauren 900, a card which was inspired of his idea, because he had it also in the Gansley deck. Water attribute the Oshaleon, water attribute 3 stars, also in reptile, monster with 1400 attack, 800 defense, and its effect works like that. As long as this card is in face-up attack position and you control it, and your opponent cannot attack another monster than that. If this card is destroyed by battle and put to the graveyard, you can bring one reptile monster with 500 attack or fewer from your hand, from a deck to your hand. So it's also a good searcher additionally to that one. But with this one, you can just search for low level or low stats terms of reptile monsters like Iperia, Yoi, or Yamori Mori. And of course, as it's such a good searcher, we have it in here as a 3 of. There we go. Love the reptiles. I was always a big reptile fan as I was a little kid. I was reading many books about reptiles, so yeah, there we go. Loved the dinosaurs as well back in the day. Then I have here Razor Lizard, one of the, you might say, stronger reptiles, which I made as an addition, which I thought would be appropriate. Of course, it's also a reptile monster with a good effect. It's an Earth attribute 3 stars, reptile, 1500 attack, 300 defense, and the effect works like that. As long as you control a reptile monster, if this card, the card, the reptile monster that attacks, other than this one, attacks a monster in face and defense position, you can destroy it without flipping it face up, and without damage calculation. So very handy and practical. It's an effect which I think Sasuke Samurai has as well, but only just with the reptile monsters then. Also in 3s, with 1500 attack, one of the stronger reptile monsters in here. But still searchable with Sangan, for example. Then I have Lion Gator in here, which is, I think, one of the strongest 4 stars monster in here. But this is a reptile. It's more attribute 4 stars reptile monster, 1900 attack, 200 defense, and its effect works like that. As long as you control another reptile monster. If a monster from the type reptile that you control attacks a Finstown defense position monster of your opponent, then you can put piercing battle damage onto your opponent's life points. Also in 3s, because it's a very strong monster that we can summon without a tribute. Then, now we're getting to the high level monsters, of course. Deep Sea Warrior is first up, because Deep Sea Warrior is the deck master in his deck, and he has also the shape of the deck master. Water attribute 5 stars, warrior type 1600 attack and 1800 defense, and it's working with Umi. As long as Umi is face up of the field, this card is unaffected by any spell cards. Legendary Fisherman, a card which he had in his deck, but you can speculate maybe it was just a big 5 United thing. It was in the big 5 United deck profile. As it was his turn, he pulled the Legendary Fisherman along with Legendary Ocean, which I will be coming to later. Water attribute 5 stars, warrior type, monster 1850 attack and 1600 defense, and its effect works like that. Very iconic. Of course, Joey Wheeler has this monster as well. As long as Yumi is face up on the field, this card is unaffected by any spell cards, and it cannot be attacked by any monster from your opponent. Very cool card, love it. Then I have here Silent Abyss, which was called I think Snake Aingana in the Virtual World arc, because it has similar stats. I think also the snake had 2000, or maybe I'm not pretty sure. I think maybe it was 2200 in this arc, but similar effect. I think it's also a reptile. It possesses 7 stars, water type or water attribute. Reptile, like I said, 2000 attack, 1500 defense. If this card is destroyed and put to the graveyard, you can destroy all face down non-water type monsters. If you know battling against the Yumi control deck, it's not good, but against any other deck it might help. My third shout out to Tower 900, because this card in here was also inspired by him. My G Echeleon, water attribute 5 stars, 2000 attack, 800 defense. Of course, another addition that I also have in here. And it's a reptile, and its effect works like that. If your opponent cannot aim this card as a target, as long as he possesses spell or to control spell trap cards, and during the battle between this card and another monster in face and defense position, also you can put piercing battle damage to your opponent's life points. So very handy deck. Like I said, it's very sneaky. It does hurt here and there, but eventually it can slowly bring attack and put with its effects, and it attacks your opponent slowly but remorselessly on with his back to the wall. So this is monster lineup. Now next up is the spells. We didn't see and witness that many spell cards, and I have made just slight additions in here. But I think it's not needed necessarily that many spell cards in here to make it work good. But a couple of we need. Some of them we saw on the show as well. Yeah, I will be coming to that right now. So of course, for drawing power, we got a Pot of Greed in here. I think he also had one, but even if he didn't, it's also for draw power in here. Mystical Space Typhoon, which he possessed in one of the games, in order to destroy a spell trap card. A Legendary Ocean. You might put this as a 3-off in here, but I have as a 2-off, of course. He played out this card in the Big 5 United deck, of course. It downgrades all levels of all water monsters in both players' hands. It's a field spell card, and of course, it increases the attack and defense of all water monsters by 200. We have also water monsters in here. And of course, it's called Umi, so it works with all the Yumi effects in here. And like I said, in the Big Five United deck, which they were all together, in the as Gansley was battling himself, and it was his turn. He had the legendary ocean. He drawed it, pulled it from the deck, and then played it out along then with legendary fisherman. I put in here a repair or salvage, how it's called in English, I think. You can of course put 2 water monsters from your with an attack 1,500 attack or fewer from your graveyard to your hand. Yeah, of course we have many of those in here with fewer than 1,500 attack or less. We have also some with more, but yeah, most of them I think are a few. I thought the Snatch Steel would also make sense in order to like maybe have a strong monster for your opponent on your side of the field and then maybe tribute it or use it. Of course it's a equip spell card which works like that. You can have the opponent's monster, but your opponent gains for each of his or her standby phases 1,000 life points. That's the downside of this card. Then I have in here Reckless Resistance, I think it is called in English. I might be wrong with that one, but yeah. I can just look it up. I just forgot all about it to look it up. But anyway, as I was looking it up, I'm just explaining the effect. You choose one monster that you control, put it to the graveyard, and then you can randomly take one card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard. So it's like, I don't know if it was Ashen Gray's effect, I think it was. Yeah, Ashen Gray's effect. So we do not have any Ashen Gray because it's, like I said, a anime exclusive card. But in order to make still have this effect in here, I put this card in there and as a little exchange. So there we go. Yeah, but guys, you know how it's called in English. I don't know because I just have this one in German, I think. Something. I just put him here. Maybe I'll look it up later and then correct myself because I have to continue right now. So we go on. Then I have Reverse Troop and continuous spell card. Every time you get 1,000 or more damage due to a card effect, which is Ruclamber's effect pretty much, due to a card effect or an attack of your opponent's monsters. And then you can draw one card per 1,000 damage that you have. So the second half is not Ruclamber's effect because Ruclamber makes you summon monsters, I think. Then Premature Burial, of course, a card which you played out. Pay 800 life points. It's a equip spell card, and then you special summon one monster from the graveyard in face-up attack position. And if this card is destroyed, the monster is destroyed. If the monster is destroyed, this card is destroyed. And then I have Smoke Grenade of the Thief in here, an equip spell card. If this card is destroyed due to an effect, as long as the monster is equipped with this card, you can look up into the opponent's hands and then also discard one card. So like it is also with Reckless Refusal or Reckless Resistance. I don't know how it's called in English, but those two effect. As he had 3 Ashen Greys in his deck, I thought at least you have 2 of them in your deck. Together with this one, confiscation, of course, pay 1000 life points in order to look onto your opponent's hands, still of course banned, and then choose one and then throw it onto the graveyard. Heavy Storm as a board breaker in order to like boost this deck a little bit more, and destroy all spell trap cards. Offerings to the Doomed, a card which you played out, of course, in quick spell. You can destroy one face-up monster of your, or just in general a face-up monster on the field. Then you have to skip your next draw phase. Then I have here Phalanx Pike, also a quick spell card. The equipped monster gains 900 attack for each card in either graveyard that has the same name it does. So we have many 3-off and 2-offs in here, so we can like at least double the attack of monsters and make them stronger. Very also convenient. Maybe if you have this card more often, then I would play this even like at least as a 2-off in here. So this is the spell, pretty much the spell lineup. You might put in a Monster Reborn in here. I decided to not. And yeah, I think Gansley didn't even have this card, but it's like a staple which is standard in decks in the Duel Monsters era. So like you put it in, you can. If you don't, then let it out. Then I made some additions. Call of the Haunted, which you played in one of the games in order to special summon of course a monster from your graveyard. Again, of course, if this card is destroyed, the monster is destroyed. If the monster is destroyed, this card is destroyed. Then I have here in here the material matter transporter, dimensional matter transporter, which of course takes one monster and banishes from the field for one round and then returns it. A typical Seto Kaiba card, but I thought it pretty much is the combination of this card and Magical Cylinder, which is the effect of the Deck Master, Deep Sea Warrior, which of course banishes the monster and then throws it back onto your side of the field with its attack and reflects the attack back to you. So Magic Cylinder and Interdimensional Matter Transporter. And last but not least, I have a Torrential Tribute in here, which he used in one of the games, which of course, as one monster is like summoned, or I think normal flip or special summoned, then you can destroy all monsters of the field, also in Board Breaker. Right there. So this is it, guys. This is my, I don't know, I think 43 or 42 Gansley Virtual World deck profile. I hope you guys liked it, enjoyed it. Hit the like, hit the subscribe button. Show me some love, guys. And yeah, stay put and yeah, just be focused. And for my next deck profile, which I intend to make maybe in a matter of 3 or 4 days. And this is me, yours, Life Maniac. And as always, I say, have a good evening, good day, good morning, good afternoon, good midday, good night. And this is me for this deck profile. I hope you guys have a nice time and peace out.